No, they I got off to a slow start. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
All right, we'll get that fixed. We're working on
right.
There.
Still an echo?
The double, we got to close a couple of windows on that one. So if you can do that, sit tight, Strick. We'll get to you. I'll start with the numbers until we get the Strick situation covered. The Huskers shoot 41% to Nebraska to Northwestern's 50. 29% from three to Northwestern's 41. 83 from the free throw line. Nebraska did a thing. They won the rebounding battle in a Big Ten basketball game, 35-31, and that's important. But they never held the lead. The largest lead of the game was 21 points by Northwestern at 68-47. That was with 7 minutes left. Nebraska made a quick run and got it down a little bit down to 9, but couldn't get over the hump and couldn't make the thing happen. 20 assists for Northwestern on their 30 buckets. 16 assists for Nebraska on their 24 made baskets. 15 turnovers for the Huskers to 12 for Northwestern. And then on-court, the fast break points, 18 points on the fast break for Nebraska, 10 from Northwestern. Points in the paint, Nebraska was +4. Personal fouls, they were +4. Second chance points, they were even. There were opportunities, but the number that jumps, right, as simple as it is, the 13. Okay, we got them in. That's good. 13 threes to Nebraska's 7. That's your difference maker as we go. Strick, bro, let's bring you in. What'd you see, man?
I mean, yeah, you pretty much said it. You try to look at the stats and try to figure out what happened. How are they down 20? It seemed like it was a late push that got them back into it. But some things I saw early was obviously the slow start. They just can't seem to get a good start on the road yet. They have it in very minuscule times that's happened. But I saw Fred do something a little bit early that I think kind of helped this game not to be way worse than what it was. And that was to put the starters on the bench when there wasn't the same type of energy that was being matched, when it didn't look like they were getting anything done. There was turnovers all over the place early. Just things was kind of hectic and helter-skelter. And even though the bench guys didn't really get anything going, so to speak, their energy is what kept them in the game. So then when the starters returned, that's when the runs was made, because the starters began to take the energy that the bench players had brought, and they interject that into the game. Ends up getting it under into single digits. Just couldn't finish it off. Then another run goes and it stays in that 14 to 18 range until late. So just like you said, there was opportunities. There was opportunities there. There were some good shots. There was some bad shots. It was, I would say, early on, it was very no ball movement, very one-on-one opportunities again. Then when you try to make the pass weren't on point. They weren't on target, so there were turnovers, or there were just some bad misses because guys were just at that point just kind of trying to get one. That changed. At one point, they're making great cuts, hard cuts, getting good layups, taking advantage of opportunities on the break. Got back in it. But I think what signifies, there was 3 instances that signify how the game was going to conclude in my mind. There was a rebound offensively for Northwestern. It was kicked out to the corner for a 3. That was a major play because they were kind of making a run there, and that kind of thwarted that run and pushed the lead back up, I think, to like maybe a 12 or 13. Another in the second half, where there was a switch situation. I think Nance or the other big man got a rebound. He misses it, but Nebraska's still looking. It doesn't matter if a guy looks like he's in a layup or not. You always got to be ready to put a body on him, move him, or jump with him for tip. You can't stay flat-footed because he quick jumped you, retained the ball, and tipped it in. That's a crucial play in the game also, because when you're making a run. And then last was, even though they retained the ball, what showed me something is that they had maybe 2 or 3 guys in the mix. Bryce was kind of on the outside. Lat was in the middle. And one of their best players hits the floor face first from outside the paint. That shows me the difference on a team that wanted it and a team that's going to come up short, because those are the type of things that show you what it means. And they just executed better. When it was time to execute, yes, they turned the ball over late. Yes, they did that. And Nebraska, kudos to them. But those are the things, the execution at times that pushed the lead. And then when Nebraska made the run, they didn't fold. They continued to execute, and they got good shots. And tonight it wasn't Bowie, but it was Nance. Nance went nuts tonight.
402-464-5685, Starter Heyman text line, Honda Lincoln hotline. Of course, you've got Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch that you can engage as well. And we understand from a fan base perspective, like you're frustrated. Everybody that is talking about Husker basketball, for the most part, are supporting the team and want the team to do well. You can also support the team and still say this isn't good enough. And that's not a slight to anybody. So I'll ask Strick, where are you with the team? Is this, and I know it's a vague question, but is this fixable over a 5-game stretch?
There's a saying that says, play, replay, repeat. That's what it seems like I'm seeing. I'm seeing a lot of the same types of things. That doesn't help me to say that there's a drastic turnaround. Here's what's crazy. It's what you said, right? You look at those stats, and there's no way you say that that's a 10-point win.
Right.
So there's got to be some things within the confines of the court and in the game that makes it where it just doesn't look like it's going to change, because it's some of the same stuff. It's IQ-ish type stuff. It's driving to the lane and over driving. I saw Trey do it tonight. I saw Verge. I saw, Bryce. They're not getting calls. It's because they're diving. They're diving into, the lane type of things, and those refs are just not calling it. And so that's telling me that you're not seeing the next thing. And when they did it, they got great shots. They found Kobe a couple times. I think Wilcher in the corner. When they do it good. It's just, I would like to see more continuation of the good stuff that they do and they can do. So I'm finding it hard because I'm seeing a lot of just the continuations of the same thing. I would hope that there could be a change. If you're going to do it, you do it against the team. Well, this same team got blew out by almost 20 to Minnesota. You did Minnesota in, right? So this is a game that you feel you can get. And I just I'm hoping to just see. It's tough to go from this to that. You know what I mean? So I mean, if I don't know if I can. It's tough to do that in such a short span. You want to kind of see some progressions in that right way. I don't know if there's enough time to make the progressions needed to make it, beautiful and glorious. The only way you can do it is just by playing hard. And I'm talking about when you get on the plane or you go to your room, you don't want to do nothing else. You don't want to go to no bar. You don't want to go to no student union for the Kappa party or the, XO party, the Sigma Chi. You don't want to do none of that. You want to just go to that room, get you something to eat, and hit the bed. That's how tired you want to be if you're going to try to make this thing salvageable. And then get ready to go to class or go back to work the next day. That's how I would feel. And I would need to see the rest of the season where they're literally barely walking off the court. They're so tired because they spent everything. There's nothing left in the tank.
Yeah, this is I ran into Derek Walker at a women's game, and his whole body language had changed since the beginning of the season. His whole persona has changed in that this thing, he's carrying a huge burden, right? Talked to the guys before the Maryland game. Same thing, as you could see that it's weighing on. I think they care. Like, as a matter of fact, I know they care. But I think for me, the thing I want to ask you, Chris Strick, is whether changing the lineup and rotation, because it could just be chemistry, right? The amount of minutes that certain players play together. On the broadcast, they talked about, well, maybe it should be Kobe and Verge together playing because it forces teams to defend them differently. Is there a lineup in your head that could change the direction and location of this program?
Well, I mean, I think this is one of Lat Man's best games in a minute. Listen. I averaged 5 rebounds a game as a guard. You know what I mean? Had double figure games multiple times as a guard. So for me, there's no way that Lat Mayan in 20 plus minutes should only have 2 rebounds. So if that's going to be the case, then I might look somewhere else. And I would put that onus on them. I may look to a Wilcher. Maybe I would switch that out. Maybe I would switch and go maybe I would do maybe a four small with
either Kobe or CJ.
with big fella.
Oh, with Eduardo.
With Derek. All right.
Okay.
So I may go Webster, Verge, Wilcher, McGowan, Bryce, and then Walker. Just I would probably go with some of that because I think CJ Wilcher, if he can get into a rhythm early without the inconsistencies, I think he can probably find a stroke. He's a little bit more aggressive, I think, both at attacking the basket as well as, in a spot up situation. So I would maybe do that to see what that looks like. And then you maybe bring Man and I like how hard Tamanaga's playing because he's at least he's going to be all over the place. And I can appreciate that. So I don't know why his minutes are down, but I would definitely increase his minutes. Bryce he's shooting 20-some% from 3. I think he's short. He's short on everything. He needs to get in the weight room because with the minutes he's playing, he doesn't shoot. And I talked about that from before about his stance. He's very upright. So when he's at range, his stuff is always going to be short. Every time he shoots, I know it's short because he doesn't shoot from peak. And it's something I would, if I was around, I'd work with him on. He shoots, he holds the ball too long and he's kind of shooting on the way down and he's always short, especially from range. Off the dribble, the same thing. So except for early, it looks good. But late, so that's kind of, I guess, DP. That's the pathway I would maybe try. You've got to switch it up. I mean, you're beating your head against the wall right now. You're going insane with sticking with the same lineup, and you haven't gotten anything out of it. So you've got to do something, and I definitely would probably interject it that way. I'll take Verge off the ball. I'm sorry, take Verge off the ball and let
you can put him on the wing. Put him on the wing. Let him catch and dive. Right,
and push. They've got to stop dribbling. DP. Like what happens too is they get it. When we were there, that ball didn't touch the freaking ground. It was bam, bam, run, probe, kick. It wasn't. I'm dribbling up, and then I'm gonna see if I can get into mine, and then I'm there, and then maybe pass it. You see a lot of that. I mean, there could have been more turnovers tonight because they had that jump in the air, and I'm like, that deer in headlights. Like, oh no, there's nowhere for me to go. Oh, let me try to throw it back out there.
Well, because nobody could. They could run basic Loyola Marymount transition, not put the ball on the floor. But it's going to require that those wing 2s and 3s be a threat and hit some of those wing shots that are going to be open.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying to attack.
Yeah,
but they're better. They're better in a drive. You can see they hit more shots in a drive and in a kick mode with an extra pass. They missed a couple tonight, but they're better at it when they do it that way. But it's when they're late clock or they're not expecting it because they're kind of getting it after, somebody then drove to the basket 3 or 4 times and they ain't kicking it. So they're not really ready to shoot. I can see that. Most of them, DP, are not ready to shoot. They're not.
Man, they all catch at the groin level. What is, like, I don't even understand.
Yes.
Like, how you catch? Like, we know after watching Lat for 2+ years that when Lat catches at the numbers, his shooting percentage was off the charts because he's a long, gangly player. So the less he has to move, the more efficient his shot is. So when he catches below the waist, he has to unfold into a shot. It takes him longer. They close out. He pulls it down. Now they're in his space, and then he tries to put it on the floor around him. He's really good putting it on the floor when there's no ball pressure. When there's ball pressure, he's terrible at it. So I don't understand. And then here's another thing. Let me go ahead and say it while I'm in the mood. Derek Walker should never play a game ever where he only takes one shot.
Big facts.
I don't understand. He took one shot in 31 minutes, and then Eduardo Andre played 5 minutes and didn't shoot a shot. Now, listen, the easiest way to defend perimeter is to know that there's no internal threat. I don't know.
Facts.
That's simple things. We learned it early. Hey, shooting percentages go down. The farther away you are, the tougher the shot. So the easy shots, they took one internal shot from the big man position tonight. 1 in 36 minutes. Guess what?
Right.
Northwestern, it's much easier to defend when you know where they're going to be.
Facts.
They knew where you were going to be, and my apologies in advance because that's just not good enough. One shot. Look, he rebounded his tail off. He fought defensively.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to shout out. I mean, look, we've talked about rebounding. We talked about them putting a focus on rebounding. They won the rebounding battle. Like, you got 10 rebounds from Bryce McGowan. 10 from Derek Walker, right? But then it doesn't make sense to me that if Bryce McGowan can find his way to 10 rebounds, how in the world is Lat only getting 2 rebounds? How is that even possible? How it is even possible? And then in transition, look, open it up. You got a road runner. Why are you asking him to act like he's a tortoise, not the hare? Why are you telling Verge to walk the ball up? I don't want it. I don't want to see it. I don't need it. Okay. I'll apologize to the coaching staff later. But man, oh man. And I'm not saying it was purposeful. What I'm saying is, here's the result, and this is where the frustration comes. Strick, get me. Am I wrong? Please.
No, you're not wrong at all. And here's the crazy thing about it, right? They ran sets where the screen was, you knew where he was going to, and it was like they looked at him and couldn't pull the trigger. It's like their post feed game is horrid. It's like they're trying to hold it and then they start doing this. Come here. Or it's like he gets to the spot, he's got the hand. You've got to feed him when he's on his way. You can't let Derek get set and then the guy starts to reposition and then try to figure out how to pass it to him. You got to, as he's going to the spot, you've got to lead him to the ball, let him go get it, let him work. They wait too long. They wait too long to try to feed him in the post, and then it closes down. It shuts down. I will give kudos. Northwestern, Collins, and that crew. They had a wonderful game plan. It was like they knew what they were going to do. They didn't allow Verge to get downhill as much. Yes, it happened a few times, but for the most part, they did a good job on Bryce. They did a great job on Trey. All of those penetrations and those things there were challenged, and they didn't just allow them to get downhill. So I give kudos to them doing that. I thought the game plan was fine, but they just worked it out. But you're absolutely right, DP. You're on point with what you said. I mean, you're definitely not off of it. No, on that, no question.
I was trying to mind my business, but I'm here showing up just like you are. Box shows up. The listeners show up. The fan base that says they don't show up, they show up. The fans that still say they show up, they show up. Everybody's showing up, waiting for, hoping for, praying for this team to turn a corner and figure out some way to be more productive, more effective. It is not being less than to say that you want better for this team, because they want better, we want better. We all want the same thing for this program, for this team, and for this community. We're all saying it. The reality is they fought to the finish. Wasn't good enough. It's another loss. Look, you can't even begin to look forward, because I was next, and the last time they saw them, that matchup didn't go well at all. So those are the things we have to talk about. Bach will jump in here after the break and break down. Let's break it down, man. I mean, look, they did some good things. They did some good things. You won the rebound battle, which is reason enough for me to throw confetti in the air. Like, I'm going to throw some confetti, because everybody said they're never going to. Well, they won the rebounding game. They made sacrifices to do it, right? They made sacrifices to do it. Understand the transition game is effective. If you say, look, I'm going to send forward to the boards instead of you running out, you're going to sacrifice some transition.
Proud of Bryce for that. That's huge.
Right?
That's big time for Bryce.
Right. So Derek gave you 10 on the boards. Trey defended well on the wing. We understood it. Verge with 4 steals. Like, you got some things. You just didn't get enough things. Again, and that's okay. So we'll throw the break. More of the 93.7 The Ticket postgame show. Huskers fall 77-65. We'll be right back.
AmeriCorps programs and members are making a huge impact in Nebraska communities near you, addressing critical issues like education, conservation, and even food insecurity. Because of AmeriCorps, 81% of students who complete the RISE curriculum don't return to the probation system. Learn about AmeriCorps programs serving communities in your region by visiting serve.nebraska.gov. Paid for by Serve Nebraska, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding.
Whoa!
Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
There's no better way to spark a child's imagination than to get lost in the adventure of a good book. I'm Jenny Benson, president of NSEA. Working together, parents and teachers can help every child succeed. You can help by reading to your child and let your child read to you. Encourage reading in your home and make it a priority. Make reading fun and a time that you and your child look forward to spending together.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and the station.
Put a frog in a pot of boiling water and it'll jump right out. But put a frog in a pot of cool water and slowly heat it up, that frog will boil. As a metaphor for us and all that we go through as veterans, it's a story that rings true. We learn to endure the heat in silence. We apply what we learn to life, the bills, the job, the family, things we're expected to handle with ease. When life heats up around us, we just try to stay afloat. We let the water boil. Reaching out isn't easy, but you've never been interested in easy. You join because you are not afraid of hard work. You are not a frog. If you or a veteran you know needs support, don't wait until the water boils. Reach out. Find resources at va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/reach. Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Back to the Tickets Basketball Postgame Show, featuring Derek Pearson and former Husker and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland, on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back. Ticket Postgame Show. Northwestern 77, Nebraska 65. There were opportunities missed, wasted. Strick. Bach now joins us. Bach, you in? You ready?
I think so. Is there no echo this time?
Okay. Hey, Bach. Lock and load the chamber and let her rip. What'd you see?
Well, I do think that there's something to the fact that they came back in this game. I'll say this again, like it was kind of with Maryland. Maryland was on pace to score 100 last night, or the last game out. They started playing not to lose, up 15 for some reason. Northwestern did the same thing. I don't know if that's the best strategy. I'll go ahead and say it at some point. But it kind of allowed Nebraska to get in. They had to do the dirty work to get back in themselves. Like we've been saying, there's positives in this game. Derek Walker, 5 assists to go along with those 10 rebounds, including a very pretty one on a cut from Kobe Webster, who played his probably best game since the Creighton game. So, I mean, I think that there's some positives to take out of it. Unfortunately, when you're 7-20 and 1-15 in conference play, you're toward the back end of the season. Small strides made are not going to make up for too much at this point. So I understand the frustration. Not just from the fan base, but certainly from within that locker room. They all expected better. They all wanted to do better than things have wound up this year. You just hope that they can keep it a little bit closer. I mean, it's the same thing we talk about every game, right? It's tough for anybody to play a 40-minute game. In a basketball is a game of kind of runs and waves there, but it seems to be a lot more difficult for this team to kind of put it together and play that game. And more than anything, just very disappointed by the defense. We could talk about offensive shot selection and lack of movement there, but the defense has been the problem all year long, partially because of the pace of play that they run. I think that maybe at some point they probably should have identified it. Now it kind of goes against what some things you guys are saying, which is push at times. And at times I think you should, but I think that there's other times where, I mean, if you don't have the shooters to try to outscore everybody, And you should probably have identified it by now. I know at practice they were hitting shots early in the non-con or early in the season, but by now you should know that this is not the team that you probably want to try to win 92 to 85 with. I think that there could be an option to kind of slow it down as well at times, but sometimes it depends on the matchup. I think that I was very disappointed by the open shot selection that was there again for Northwestern. It's not a happenstance. They can hit 13 threes on Nebraska, and many of them wide open. Once again, it's just kind of identifying Nance tonight. Nance has been shooting 40% on the year from three, yet he doesn't have a defender within 6 feet of him when he's taking them.
I looked at it sideways because I kept the things, and Strick, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but defensively, depending on the matchup, you're going to defend front of the rim, middle of the floor. You allow nothing to cross your face, close out at an angle so you have leverage one way, what you take away something. Strick.
It's close out for baseline. Yeah, right? You're right, DP. You close out to the high side, no middle drives, because that's the whole breakdown of your defense. You can block it off if you let them go baseline. You're right. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, basic concepts that will work in the Big Ten that work against Nebraska. Right? Nebraska, as much as we thought they were a shooting team, they are a catch and drive team. Mm-hmm. And with the players that they have in that space, the Big Ten has figured out, especially when they're rolling well, that they need to clog the middle against Nebraska and take that away so that the pull-up game is off the lane, which is the toughest shot on the floor. That's the tough shot. Look, if I get to the elbow, you should be able to make it. If I get in the paint and do a pull-up, I should be able to make it. Mm-hmm. But if you get me off the paint in a pull-up, the percentage goes way down. Mm-hmm. And Nebraska constantly defensively allows people into that space. There are 2 surefire ways, or 3, for players who play for me to be replaced. Strick, you ready? Walk with it through me. 1, you allow an offensive rebound. 2, you swipe instead of dig.
Mm-hmm.
Simple. Mm-hmm. 3rd, you allow a pass across the face. Across your face, across the middle of the defense. Look, if you can swing around the perimeter, I'm cool. Right? I'm cool with you putting that extra effort in. If you just hit a corner 3 falling off the floor, you know what? I'm going to clap for you as I head back down the floor. But basic things, especially the way Big Ten offenses run, is that you do not allow those 3 things to happen, because the swipe puts them at the free throw line. It's going to happen all the time. You end up in the bonus, and you end up giving up free points. Passes across the face means you weren't connected to the play defensively, and you weren't connected to your teammates. And then the offensive rebounds means that you didn't complete the possession. Mm-hmm. Like you didn't finish the possession. And those are 3 things that we're talking about in game 26, 27.
That part.
Things, right? So
that part.
How do we fix that, Strick? How do we fix it?
So there's 2 parts to it. One is they don't let Nebraska do it. Anytime they get into the paint, they drive baseline. Nebraska players have yet to figure it out. If you could see my hands, they're straight out.
Yep.
They try to throw through lanes, as you just said, straight out. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yep.
Their passes are going here, and they're getting tipped, and they're getting stolen, and all of that. Your passing lanes have to be over shoulders or by knees. And they haven't figured it out yet. Kobe went baseline tonight. He does the out of bounds to corner pass, throws it straight line to the body with open hands, and he gets stolen. Mm-hmm. They drive into the basket. They either throw it behind Walker on the rotation. Bryce made a good one earlier. He just missed it. And I think they missed Andre. He just missed it. But there was like 2 instances where they were good. But most of the time they throw it so low it skips and it hits their knees, or it goes behind them. And you can't make a big man turn on the middle of a roll unless he's special, like David Robinson or somebody like that, or like Hakeem Olajuwon. You don't, you know, even Shaq, you don't do that to. You know what I'm saying? Shaq, you put it in his hands so he can do what he do. That's what I'm talking about. Those things, those little things like that. Then you spoke about the rebound, like you said, that's heart, that's effort, that's desire. And then you spoke about, what was the last one?
Dig. Like, stop putting people
okay. Good point. so here's the thing about dig. Digs never come from top down.
Right.
You get body to side of the guy that's helping your guy.
Dig, don't reach. Like,
dig up. You dig up. You're not gonna get a call if you dig up. You're not gonna get foul calls. You're more likely gonna get the ball. So either the ball is gonna come down to you, or you're gonna be able to knock it out going up. If you swipe down, referees are automatic in the mind. Is if you touch in any fashion, you're getting called. So those are the things that, like you said, that's just fundamental stuff. That I don't know. Maybe I was just fundamentally taught different. I don't know, but that's just old school fundamentals,
right? Like, I mean, like we say, don't reach, young man, dig. Like, get your hand out of look. If you're getting crossed over on a regular basis, that means your dig game is poor. That's literally what it means. Offhand takes away the dig, takes away the crossover. Simple business. It's learned early. Let's go to the Honda Lincoln hotline. Houston has been waiting. Houston, what's up?
Hey, not too much. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, we're making it through. What's on your mind?
Yeah, so I watch as many games as I can. I listen to as many games as I can, and these last two Northwestern games are the only games that I haven't gotten to watch. So I just wanted to run something by you. We play Northwestern at home. We get blown out by what should have been 40, and then we go to Northwestern and we somehow come back and we lose by just 12, which is still not good. But what would you guys say was the difference between getting blown out at home, whereas we had a somewhat respectable loss at Northwestern? Is it just the fact that we played them, we knew that what we were walking into coming into the night? Is there just more chemistry with the team? Is it coaching? What was the difference between the first time we played Northwestern and what was the difference tonight?
Okay.
Like I said, I haven't gotten to see it. I just gotten to listen to it. So
we'll go through
see what you guys had to say.
Okay. Thank you, Houston. Strick, you want me to go first? You want to go first?
You can go first.
Okay. Couple of things. I'll give this coaching staff credit for doing two things tonight. One, they made a conscientious decision that we were going to change how you defended Boo Buie. Right? So you took away a thing that gave you harm and did you ill will the first time you played. Second adjustment that was made was that you sent additional bodies to the board so that there were fewer volatile transition possessions by Northwestern. Right? When you win the rebound game, you're taking away some of those possessions that get you in trouble. Now, you didn't do anything with them, which is a whole other thing. But to have two players in double figures on the rebounding column was purposeful, a great adjustment, a rock-solid decision. You got better performances from some guys from Kobe off the bench. So those three things to me is why you were in this and had an opportunity. I still think shot distribution and rotation were things that need to be adjusted. Strick?
So for me, it was, as you said, a conscientious effort to when it could have got this game could have been that. So please don't get it could have been as it was in at home against Northwestern. Mm-hmm. But what happened is Fred Hoiberg said, "Oh no. All y'all, come on. Y'all sit over here for a little bit." Mm-hmm. And then when the bench players then kind of did a few dumb things that he put the other guys in. He's like, "Ooh, let me go back in here and put some effort and scrap." And that's how they was able to kind of make sure 20 didn't turn to 30. That's one thing. The second thing is that they continued to fight. So in a game of runs, they continue to hustle and grind. Whereas in the game against Northwestern, they laid down like they was on Figueroa in L.A. And if you know, you know.
Yep.
That's what it was like. They laid down and just gave up the ghost. So that was the difference between tonight. They fought, they continued to scrap. They played actually to the end of the game, as opposed to just like if you're a listener and you know anything about Digital Underground, the Humpty Humpty dance. Mm-hmm. They let them at home against Lincoln do what you like.
Do what you like.
It was
do how
Digital
you like.
Underground. Do what you like.
How you like. Do what you like. Do how you like.
Do where you like. That was what was going on at that game. So I guess that's the best way I can explain it.
All fair. Let's throw it to break. Come back one final time. Bach, Strick, the question for you is this. Tonight, Bryce McGowan breaks the all-time freshman scoring record, breaking David Hopkins' school freshman mark. I'll ask you both what it means. What does it mean? Let's answer that when we come back.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now in our new time. We're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean, and there I was 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
AmeriCorps programs and members are making a huge impact in Nebraska communities near you, addressing critical issues like education, conservation, and even food insecurity. Because of AmeriCorps, 81% of students who complete the RISE curriculum don't return to the probation system. Learn about AmeriCorps programs serving communities in your region by visiting serve.nebraska.gov. Paid for by Serve Nebraska, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we
go. Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too, and that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers. We are normal people just like you. But our part-time service in the Army National Guard means we get to be more. When our communities are in need, we get the chance to stand up and do something about it. We get to serve in our own region and help the people we call neighbors. Whether they are in the mountains of New Mexico, the plains of Nebraska and Kansas, the ranches of Oklahoma and Texas, the farmlands of Missouri and Arkansas, or the bayous of Louisiana, we are here for our hometowns. And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Nebraska Army National Guard, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association at this station. If you're worried your friend may be struggling, remember, you don't have to be there to be there.
You could say, how are you, or get a fake tattoo. You could ask with an app if it works for you. You could chat on the game, kick off your flip-flops. You could ask on your couch while you binge watch.
Whatever gets you talking. Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and the Jed Foundation.
Back to the Tickets Basketball Postgame Show, featuring Derek Pearson and former Husker and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland, on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Final segment. Let's clear the chambers. Bryce McGowan sets the all-time freshman scoring record with 452. Passing Dave Hoppins' 445, set in a record that's been for 40 years. 39 years. And he breaks it. And he's still got some games left. Strick, Bach, does it matter? Does the scoring record matter, and what does it say? Gentlemen?
Go ahead, Bach.
Well, yeah, I think, unfortunately, just because of the record, I think it means a missed opportunity. You're not going to get a freshman to come in here. It's pretty rarefied air he's in there with, and do what he's been able to do. So I think that's kind of the frustrating part of it. I'm also somewhat sad. It kind of goes back to the, I guess a Stanley Morgan sort of conversation where you kind of rate him among the greats at Nebraska as far as wide receivers go. And you go, he just doesn't have that moment that I kind of think of for his career that kind of puts him up. Irving Fryer had a big moment against the top. I'm not comparing Stanley Morgan to Irving Fryer too much, but you get what I'm saying. Yep. And I think that's kind of the same thing with Bryce is, you can think of some dunks and stuff, but you don't have the upset victory over Michigan State where he hit a big shot at the end or something like that, where you go, yeah, I remember that season. I think most of the time when you look back at this season, you're going to think, he was the best player on a team. Like I could say it, a bad team. I'm not saying the players are bad. I'm saying the record's not going to reflect very well, obviously, on this team historically.
Strick?
Yeah, I would. It's a bad saver. I've seen a bunch of good guys. I think you can look at guys like at one point. Before they started winning, you look at my guy Melo. You look at Melo at times, right? And yeah, it was a bad team, but you just scored a lot of points. so it's like it's counted on you to do that because it's just that's the way the ball for. I could tell you if you come back and you repeat that and you put some wins in the column, that changes the whole scenario. Then that record would be acknowledged. If you leave on that record, it's just you score a lot of points on a horrible team. Anybody can do that. That's the way people will start to look at it. I still think it's significant though, personally, being a player and who has played, I still think it's significant. I think that's amazing, to be able to come in and do that. It could have been even better because, you're shooting 20-some% from three. Just think if some of those went down, you're getting to the free throw line. So those are good things. 5 times a game. That's phenomenal. That's top notch. That's solid. You're one of the top guys that is being referenced as far as scoring. You don't fit as freshmen, as a young player. You don't fit in that same level because they're having success. So they're leading a team that's winning games, right? Yeah. So that's the only significance. That's why I truly believe he should come back. You come back and you set the tone. You change the whole narrative that's out there on you, and you make this thing right. And I'm not saying you've got to go to the top 3 of the Big Ten. I'm saying if you just move towards the middle of the pack, you change the whole narrative. So, yeah, I think it's significant.
Yeah. It's a couple of days. And they get to exhale, take a deep breath, and then here come the Iowa Hawkeyes. Friday night, 8 p.m. on Fox. Well, give me one thing, Bach. What are you praying for?
Well, I would just got in the top 25. They destroyed Michigan State tonight. If they have this 3-point sort of defense and Jordan Bohannon gets going, it can get ugly. So Keegan Murray's going to be there. He's going to hopefully hold him to less than 25 or whatever it was at halftime he had last time.
Whatever number.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, just another opportunity to get the big win.
Strick, one thing.
Yeah, just scrap. You need 40 minutes. I mean, leaving it all the gas out of the tank where you're empty.
That's one. All right, brother. Strick, appreciate you, man. Check you out on the block. See you tomorrow on the block, Bach.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Carter, thank you, man. Appreciate it. Fans, stay tall. Stand up. Put your chest down. Go Big Red.